Welcome back to the channel. Let's get into the first day of the second round March Madness picks and my rundown of these games that we have coming to you guys live here on this lovely Saturday. Unfortunately, Friday was not so lovely. It was a horrible day for me on the card. Really did take it. Got beat up by the books. That does not happen often, okay, but it did happen. And one thing I wanted to do was follow up that performance from Thursday. We really got it done. Unfortunately, Friday it seemed like every game we were fighting it. And I still stand by my numbers. You got to trust your power rankings. My numbers, I would bet them again today. Those were the correct sides, in my opinion. And that's kind of where we're at. So looking for a bounce back today. I will give you guys three best bets as well as kind of get into the whole rundown of the card. Hopefully everyone's brackets are not busted. North Carolina really did cost me and just pretty much the worst first half they could have played in the first half, and that was Ole Miss's best first half. And I think that if we did get overtime or a third period of play, or just even a halfway decent first half, I think North Carolina does prevail in that contest. So let's get into it. Let's talk about today's picks. We are going to use OUTLIER to break this all down. First game on the card. All right, this is going to be McNeese and Purdue. This is interesting, okay? I would probably lean towards the under as my best bet. I think that we're going to get a game where McNeese very slow, Purdue very slow. They're going to try to make this game go down to the wire. I think that is, if you get some missed shots, I think this does set up pretty well for an under 142.5. It is a lower 140, so that does kind of give me pause if both the teams do get in the 70s. You're not going to cash that under, but I do think the under is the correct side, and that's how I would be playing it. Staying away from, though, McNeese plus 6.5. I do like playing underdogs, but as you saw yesterday, guys, it's something that could go pretty south very quickly. So I'm going to stay away from the side, but I do favor the under. Okay, 142.5. Arkansas in St. John's. This is going to be a play that I'm going to make, okay? And this is something where, as we look at the numbers, guys, you want to find the best number available. That's where we're going to dive into OUTLIER, and you can find right there out there in the books. If you want to get on a 7, you're going to have to look for it a little bit, but there are 7s available. You could take minus 6.5, minus 125, and that will be my best bet with St. John's. I just think that that first half scare that St. John's got against Omaha was exactly what that team needed. You saw how they were able to pull away, and you saw what happens if a team does not play good defense. Well, Arkansas, they have great potential. The Calipari-Patino matchup is going to be awesome to watch. I'm just going to go a little contrarian on this one. I got to trust my numbers. St. John's, by my opinion, is a very, very highly ranked team in terms of power ranking. And when it comes down to this game, I just don't trust the Razorbacks going against this St. John's defense. So maybe the Big East stinks. Maybe we see, UConn won, Creighton won, St. John's won. Maybe we see these Big East teams win their first round game, and then they just completely lose it in the second round, and it's all fool's gold. But I think that right now, this Big East Conference, I got to back them. I know the SEC is kind of where we go, but I just don't see Arkansas playing enough fundamental basketball to get it done against St. John's late. And I think that's where we do see a game similar to what Arkansas was able to do against the likes of Kansas, how all of a sudden, guys, it just gets down. It just gets up to like a 7-point win out of thin air. So I think that St. John's is going to pull away. As long as they don't crap the bed shooting the threes, Arkansas will not be live, and I will lay it with St. John's in the Red Storm. I think that the number, you got to kind of trust it, and I think everybody saw Arkansas beat a poor Kansas team, and next thing you know, Calipari, national champion Kentucky, you're going to get a lot of public money on Arkansas. Despite people rooting for their brackets with having St. John's. A lot of people have them in the Final Four. But I just think this is something where you look into what St. John's doing. Great cover team. They get it done, home, road, doesn't matter. If they hit their three-pointers, I think this game gets out of hand and potentially up into the double digits, okay? But unfortunately, this is something where you look at what I think the biggest thing going for Arkansas, and I'll talk a little bit more about this game because this is the one that really does intrigue me, right? Same thing kind of happened within the UNC game a little bit yesterday, but if you see St. John's and what happened, right, Arkansas, when Kansas deployed the zone, changed the whole kind of game script, right? I look at that inbounds play too, where we almost lost. Basically, could have changed the whole game. I just don't see this team playing enough good basketball at a high level to get this done against Rick Pitino and company. I got to go with the Johnnies, Red Storm, and I'm not really big on doing that. But I just, for my numbers, where I'm at, that's my bet. So I'm sticking with it. If you guys want to fade me, go for it. I know the door is wide open for some of you guys, but quite frankly, it's been a rough week and a half for if you've been taking that mindset. So, but I am going with St. John's, and I know I talked about that a little bit longer, but that's something I do feel strongly about. Okay, Michigan, Texas A&M. This is another best bet for me. I look at Michigan. I just really don't think they should be here. I think Texas A&M is a buy low team for me coming into the tournament. I have them going and advancing a few rounds. I'm backing them here. I got to trust my numbers, trust my bracket. I think the athleticism of Texas A&M will dominate. I don't think they quite frankly care that Michigan has 7-footers. If you looked into that Michigan game against San Diego, UC San Diego, I think that it did have the opportunity where go a couple minutes longer. I do think that Michigan would have got ousted in that spot. Texas A&M, though, it's the same kind of storyline, though. They have to make their threes. I just think that Texas A&M, too athletic, too defensively apt to play in this game and in the spot in the moment. So I'm going to go with the Aggies here. We're going to take them. You could have gotten them on the money line, minus 140, even better than that, but it's kind of where I think this one kind of really brings it in for the Aggies. I really don't see a way that Texas A&M doesn't win this game. That's going to be probably my favorite bet of the day. It's kind of similar to that North Carolina game, though, in a way. In a way, it is a little bit fishy, but I still like the Aggies here. I got to trust the numbers. We're going to fade Michigan, and we're going to take Texas A&M. Money line. Okay. If you want to add them to your mixes, great. Minus 150 is too expensive. That's the top echelon of what I'll look to pay. Other than that, guys, this could go down to the wire if you do feel Michigan is legit. I just think that 1, 2, 3, I'll lay it all with Texas A&M. So give me A&M right now. Minus 2 would be the best number I could find. Okay. Next bet, Drake and Texas Tech. Hey, this is a good spot for Drake. They're letting the world know who they are. This is one of those teams where if you like McNeese, you like Drake, trendy dogs. Everybody would love to see the small school win against teams such as Texas Tech and teams such as Purdue. Nobody really, quite frankly, cares except for their fan bases. So that's kind of how you have to look at this game. But Drake and McNeese, I don't mind that side for both of those games. I think Texas Tech, though, is a very, very undervalued team. So I would lay with the Red Raiders here personally, but I'm going to stay away from it because I do believe in the 30-3 Drake Bulldogs. This is a tough game to handicap. It's two clashes. If you trust the numbers, if you trust my numbers, this says Drake money line is the play. Okay, plus 250 on the spot. But if you also trust a little bit of the kind of just present form and what I see right now with this Texas Tech team, I think they can win the game too. I'm just not willing to lay 6.5 going against a team that my number says is better in a lot of different areas. Okay, I just don't trust it. I don't like doing the carryover with the competition within varying conferences, but I do think Texas Tech is a very a Final Four capable team. Okay, this is going to be one of those games where you just have fun watching for me, and I think that's something where it's going to be a slow game for Drake. One of the slowest teams, if not the slowest teams in college basketball. I just want to see how that style vibes because Texas Tech, they can't make mistakes if you play at that pace. So it's gonna be a fun one, okay? And I don't think Texas Tech has seen a style of basketball quite like this, okay? Next game that almost made my card, Creighton and Auburn. This is a sucker bet in my opinion. Everybody saw the blowout by Creighton. They're dangling that 9.5 in front of you, begging you with that low-hanging fruit to take the Creighton Blue Jays plus 9.5. It's a horrible number, but where the hell are you going to put it? Okay, are you going to put Creighton plus 14 and get a lopsided handle, or are you going to put Auburn -6, -7 and get a lopsided handle? I personally would have Creighton at a +7. That's kind of what my numbers would lean to. I'm not a big fan of Auburn. I have them losing this game personally, or the next one. I can't remember, but they're not making my Final Four. And if Auburn was going to get beat, it would not shock me if it came on behalf of Creighton. So this is one where I just don't like the number. I know you're getting 2 more points than my ranking gives, so that's an auto bet for the 9.5 with Creighton. This is going to be a in-game live opportunity for me. I want to see how Creighton comes out, and more specifically how Auburn comes out defensively. They look tired. They look gassed. Johnny Broom's not really giving me good body language. I just really don't think that Creighton can, they might even be live in this spot. So that's kind of what I'm looking for, potentially getting in on Creighton live. I want to see how those first, 5 minutes go, first 3 to 5 minutes, okay? But no play for me officially in that spot. BYU, Wisconsin. This is a lean towards BYU, but we are going to bet the over as an official play. 155.5 is my best bet, and I'm looking at my numbers right now. This is something where you talk about the potential for BYU. If they make threes, Wisconsin makes threes. This is a game that we're going to see one team in the 80s, one team in the 70s. So 155.5. I know the numbers kind of agree with everybody saying that somebody should take the under. But I think this is something where we get more value, more potential going with the over. The handle does back me up. If we talk about it, 92% of the handle is on the over, albeit only 68% of the bet. So we're going over 155.5, BYU, Wisconsin. Gonzaga and Houston, another tough game. This is a watch game. We're going to stay away from it. What Gonzaga was able to do, this is kind of similar to potentially what we saw with North Carolina, right? Blowout first game in, and then we do get Houston fresh off a blowout too, but I think their defense will carry over. This is kind of where you want to talk about a slow it down game. But Houston, coincidentally, has been kind of sneaky to the over, in my opinion, as with Gonzaga. So this was one where I could see leaning 139.5. However, when it comes to Houston and Gonzaga, I really do like the Cougars team. I would lay it with Houston if I was going to bet this game. And then obviously UCLA, Tennessee, no play for me. UCLA blew out their first opponent in a way they needed to. I think Utah State. I don't know actually if it was Utah State, but nonetheless, I think it was a time zone difference that really did benefit them. Okay, so this could be a sharp move to Tennessee. Kind of a first game for the Volunteers. Look for a bounce back performance. I think if I had to bet this game, I'm going to lay it here 5.5 with Tennessee, but that's just a lean. My best bets for today's games. We're going to go with the BYU Wisconsin over 155.5. We're going to get it done with the Texas A&M money line -2. Follow those numbers, get the best one available, and then finally we're going to lean into the St. John's over there with a -7, -6.5, whatever the best number you can find. I will not lay it with 7.5, but I think the Johnnies get this one done, and it could get out of hand if Arkansas does not come ready to play. Okay, but looking forward to it. Starting off, we're going to see this action, 12:10 tip-off for McNeese, Purdue. Kind of a sleepy early start for McNeese. So this is kind of one of those spots where you could get snuck up on. So I don't really mind taking a little McNeese money line. But for my money, guys, I'm going to stay away from it because I do favor the Boilermakers in that spot. But outside of that, guys, it's going to be a fun one to watch. We'll see what McNeese does. We'll see what Drake does. And we'll see you guys all later on the channel. Good luck with your picks. Bounce back day. Have a great Saturday. We'll see you all tomorrow. Cheers.